The JuRY Daily podcast is supported by you at PayJuryDaily.com. New Patreon. It's a new link. So PayJuryDaily.com. Again, PayJuryDaily.com. Oh, welcome. It's a new day. Yes, it is. So excited. All right. Real quick, because this is a show with a bit of a time clock, so we are not going to spend a ton of time on it, but we do officially now have our own home. The JuRY Daily Show, which is something far different than I've ever done before. I've never done a daily show in my life. It is now official. This has evolved in an exciting new direction. I have never seen the JuRY audience as excited and engaged as I have over the last 2 weeks, which means we now have a place where you can support us directly. If you get the RSS feed off this Patreon, it will only have JuRY Daily stuff from now to eternity. We have split off from my other Patreon that will now solely be for the politics stuff. I am very excited for this change. I think it just allows us so much more real estate to do whatever we want to do on this show. And I really do feel, based on your guys' enthusiasm, that, well, the excitement is something that I take very seriously. I've been around these internet parts quite a few times, and I know a genuine spark when I see it. I've seen one here, and we're going to fan that motherfucking flame until the goddamn roof burns down. So, with that excitement and optimism, let's talk about James Gunn. Womp womp. This happened after the Friday hype train. And I'm not going to lie to you folks, I got in my feelings about it. I got in my feelings in a major way watching James Gunn get fired. Here's why. It is not to say that what James Gunn tweeted 6 to 10 years ago wasn't vile. It was. Not to say that it wasn't awful. It was. What I would like to make the point about is that the awfulness of his tweets is not the point. Or at least it's not why he got fired. He got fired because he is an unhinged political Twitter opinion. He oftentimes, far more than he tweets about Guardians of the Galaxy or movies or anything else about his craft, he tweets about politics. He believes that Donald Trump is, to put it mildly, not a good guy. And to put it more specifically, a agent of Russia. This became so suffocating that I unfollowed James Gunn. And I was following James Gunn at the point that he was making the jokes that he wound up getting canned for. If you're not familiar with this story, the tweets included things about pedophilia, rape, AIDS. They were, I think the common vernacular would be edgelord horse shit. I think that's safe to say, right? Edgelord horse shit. Things that are said just for the fact that they could be said, and if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Sorry, I'm just a bit politically incorrect. You know, that kind of stuff. Now, the reason why I got in my feelings about it is because, well, I've spent the last 10 years on the internet. There are all varieties of me. Blog me, podcast me. I mean, hell, I think you can still find some of my college writing on the internet. I played my comedy album on the stream, wherein it included a slur toward gay people. Now, I have long wrestled with this strategy of mine to say anything that comes to the top of my head and to try to emulate some of my comedy and broadcasting heroes who have always been fearless in their speech. And my thought was always that the future is moving toward more context. That as everything is recorded, the way that we will evolve is that we will take more context than we have in the past. Now that we are free of these gatekeepers, surely the trend will be to synthesize all of the context and to bring a fuller debate forward. So if I were ever in a situation where somebody pulled up something out of context that I have said, the natural salve, in fact, the only salvation, will be to pull out all of the other things that I have said that prove my heart in another direction. And I still hope that that's where we're going. But I think right now, we have made a pit stop. Maybe it's not a pit stop. Maybe it is the final destination. We have made a pit stop in a very, very weird place. Because the fact that James Gunn was a provocateur dickweed is not shocking to people who followed him through his work at Trauma, through Slither, through Super, through PG porn. But as the old NBC saying went, for their must-see TV Thursday night lineup, when they had to go in to reruns, and kids, please understand, there was once a world where not everything was on demand and DVRs had yet to be invented. But they had this phrase, "It's new to you." Is James Gunn's Twitter and blog antics, are you not aware of them? Well, they're new to you. And apparently they were new enough to Disney that they fired him. This made me very depressed. Because I don't know how much I ever really want to work for a larger corporation, but I do have a desire to continue to expand my platform. And sometimes that comes with partnerships, if not outright employment by larger corporations. And I know that, holy crap, if you got those out there, like, man, I can imagine the reel that you could put together of me saying awful stuff. It's just, if this, and again, let me circle back a little bit. This was not about what he said. In fact, maybe the funniest part about all this is that the same forums for which were writing the hardest to get James Gunn fired are the ones that were furious about Roseanne, that were furious about Milo. I can't pronounce his last name. They said, "Oh, you want to know what? I think it's best summed up in a letter that I got. I didn't ask this person if I could read his letter online, so I'll say his name if he's into it. But let me just say, this is a listener who I went back and forth with on Twitter. I think it's a he. They wrote, I want to make sure I use their preferred pronoun. Wink. I agree that it is totally shitty that James Gunn lost his job over BS jokes he made 10 years ago. It sucks, but that is the world we live in. I'm a lifetime Republican, and this kind of deplatforming bullshit hits people on my side all of the time. I think it is crap, and I'm not opposed, and I am opposed to it. But the left wing will eviscerate a conservative on the thinnest of pretexts. If we want to end this BS, we have to make it hurt for the leftists as well. Again, I am opposed to these tactics, but James Gunn had no problem using these tactics against conservatives he opposed. I hope the left learns that these tactics can hurt them as well, and they back off. Since they won't, no matter how unpleasant it is, they must be made to play the same, to play by the same rules. Once both sides understand that they are vulnerable to these tactics, the left will back off. If they don't, the right should not either. In closing, these tactics suck, and to quote you, are gross. But if one side keeps using them, then the others has no choice but to use them back. I mean, I don't want to get all fucking an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. And I do understand and sympathize. I am empathetic to the fact that there are at times reasonable conversation that is totally taken off the table because you want to eliminate a voice. Which is why, man, this show and the politics show, my entire oeuvre is all about saying we need to be able to separate discussion. We need to be able to separate politics from real life. Politics is a strategy. Politics is a game. There are suspended rules for speech in there. You can be meaner than you can in real life, but let's not pretend that that's real life. And sure, James Gunn certainly tied himself to causes that also look to deplatform people. But man, that doesn't mean that I think it's right. I do think it's gross. I'm against snitch culture. If you're digging back in somebody's Twitter history and you're just searching N-word, rape, pedophilia, little boys, and you're trying to find stuff on the Wayback Machine, you're trying to find stuff that was deleted, I'm not down with that. I'm sorry. I'm just not. For any reason. Let's go ahead and get into your emails. Justin from YouTube talking about our Papa John's conversation on Friday. The garlic dipping sauce is literally the only reason I have ever ordered Papa's. Goodbye, Papa. Goodbye, garlic sauce. Hey, by the way, YouTube! This is, in part, JuRY Daily in general, probably the first time that I've ever felt comfortable directing people to my YouTube channel for anything other than VODs. I want this to be a YouTube offering. I feel like it's at about the right time frame. I feel like it's a daily show. It's something that is worthwhile to the YouTube ecosystem. So if you have any comments on anything that we're talking about, make them long. Make them girthy. Write them down there in the comment section. We're going to flow those in along with tweets if you use hashtag JuRY Daily. We want this to not only be an email thing. We already have a great email culture. Let's build up our YouTube comment culture. Let's build up our Twitter culture. I'm liking it. Here's what I'm saying. Can I get, like, at what point is Papa John's sufficiently taken away from that company that I can feel good about ordering that dipping sauce again? Because I'm not going to lie, man. I've I've been thinking about that dipping sauce ever since Papa John started dropping those N-words. That's a pretty good dipping sauce. Somebody rip off the dipping sauce is really what I'm saying. Like if Domino's came out and said, hey, we're paving pizzas, and guess what? We're also going to rip off this dipping sauce because Papa John's too racist. Drench Wildfire says, let's build up our YouTube comment culture, said no one else ever. I believe we can do it. I might be an idiot, but I think we can. I think that you get the audience you deserve, and I think that we deserve to have an interactive comment culture. Come on. All right. We got a bunch of emails about kissing dogs. Sean, wrote, I always thought French kissing also meant the weird double cheek air kiss that is characterized by high society women in the 90s. Is that just called cheek kissing? If it helps, I'm white. So I think what he's talking about, it's funny because I'd always kind of known that growing up in South Florida as a Hispanic thing too. There's the kind of like air kiss cheek thing is also, I mean, maybe it's more European. I don't know. Am I making that up? Hispanic people, let me know. Am I making up that I mean, maybe like an actual kiss on the cheek. That's an Italian thing too. It's a European style greeting. But no, French kissing is just tongue on tongue. If you're just catching up with us here, we were talking about Lena Dunham saying that if you don't French kiss your dogs, you ain't down with her. We found that gross. Penny JW wrote in, okay, after listening to the whole pet Frenching thing, I have to add my 2 cents. I have been an inside dog owner for over 10 years, and while he is cute, he licks his butt and his junk with that tongue. He also sniffs and tries to lick cat butt, and I have on occasion caught him eating not only his own poop, but also cat poop. Number 2, the whole dog's mouths are cleaner than humans' mouth is a load of bullshit. There are the regular gamut of bacteria that is present in human mouths, but also a whole other set of germs because they do lick their butts and eat poop. In conclusion, I will never let my dog lick my face or lick my lips. He's tried over the years, but we never went looking to get open-mouth kisses from him. And finally, Cappy wrote in, I have my favorite joke about this. Why do dogs lick their buttholes? Because they know they're licking your face next. In general, my dogs don't lick my face at all, but sometimes my 4-pound Yorkie will sneak attack while I'm on the couch. Then I go watch my face. And finally, Mark from Chicago wrote in and said, I just watched Sorry to Bother You on your recommendation. I had seen the teaser trailer, but I went in blind otherwise. Thank you for that treat. I wouldn't have gone without your recommendation, and I'm fortunate that I did. There were 6 other people in the theater, and 3 of them walked out halfway through. Very glad I hadn't heard anything going in. Strongly recommend that any JuRY Daily listener does the same thing. You better go see this movie because I'm going to start, I swear to God, man, I am going to start dropping references to this flick. And you don't want to know what happens after that jade door. Get in there now and start and just watch this movie. It's a worthwhile movie to support. It's all shot through Oakland. But if and when it comes to your town, go check it out. Because I'm going to start spoiling it. And there's some pretty good fucking spoilers in there. All right, this outro is going to sound a little different today. You can email me at jurydaily.com. You can follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, at Justin R. Young. You can support this show at payjurydaily.com. And on social media. Use hashtag JuRYDaily if you want to get your comments in on the show. Folks, that about wraps it up for today's show. Until next time, my name is Justin Robert Young, reminding you to please go.
Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.